Sweet Baby Inc. comes in and they're tasked to write scenarios. And if they say, hey, in the scenario, Spider Man swings across a building and the building has a pride flag because it's a pride celebration, do you think the developers are going to be like, no, no, we're not going to put that in? They're just going to exclude that. No, they're going to put the pride flag onto the thing as part of the
now let me
scenario.
talk. Now that you ask a question, I'm going to mute you so I can fucking answer. You've just described a scenario that there's no evidence that that's actually what happened whatsoever. You're creating a fantasy, and then you're saying, "Oh, you can't, of course, you can't disprove that this fantasy didn't happen." It's fucking nonsense, dude.
I was offering a hypothetical to give you an example of how possibly Sweet Baby Inc. could be influencing games. That's all I was doing.
I can offer all kinds of shit about how like Ethan Van Sciver's got his hand up your ass and working you like a puppet to shill for him.
You could 100%.
I would actually have more.
That's your prerogative.
Probably true than what you have for this. No
Subscribe to me. Oh, Dane, take my hand. I will lead you to salvation. They're supposed to be the defenders of the medium, they're supposed to be defenders of the art, but yet they never talk about it.
A fandom is a community, and a community, they're defined by people contributing to the health of the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like as far as like building up the numbers, being good representatives of the thing, making products that fan art and stuff like that. Like all of that is exactly what a fandom is supposed to fucking do, and like encourage other people, to do content, just based on the inspired for inspiration's sake, not inspired because of spite. You know what I mean? That's the only product that you end up getting out of this. And it's like, considering how large these fucking numbers are that these channels get, you would think there would be more possible than just a few short films of bullshit by that Epicverse is apparently gonna maybe do someday. There should be more art coming out of these communities if they were actual fandoms. Got it.
Damn, nice.
I didn't even do that on purpose.
It just comes naturally. Good, man.
Time to end my channel now. I fucking got there naturally and I just said it. It's done. I can't say anything else now. Hello. Hi guys. Everybody hear me okay? Hello and welcome to unplanned and unfortunate, very brief just stream that I wanted to just do real quick. Everybody can hear me okay, right? I'm audible, though. Maybe turn up my volume a little bit because I'm probably not going to be as like excited as normally am. Yeah, if you haven't heard already, Ben Potter, most commonly known as Comicstorian on YouTube. Apparently he died 2 days ago. And that's really the only information that there's been released as far as I know. The only thing I'm basing this on is from the statement from his wife on Twitter. We can read that in a moment. But that's, other than that, I don't know anything, and I would appreciate nobody speculating anything else either. I'm not going to answer anything, and just be clear, I didn't know him. Never met him, never even talked to him. So let's see here. We've got quite a few people. Yeah, this is why I wanted to do this, man, because I was looking around after seeing that news and went on to Reddit and was looking just on Twitter and everything, and I'm seeing a lot of people saying exactly the same thing that I more or less. There's different versions of it, and it's like, my version is that when I was very poor and not able to afford any comics whatsoever, but I still wanted to know what was going on, Comicstorian was the guy. Comicstorian and Comics Explained were the two channels that there was a period there where, I had not really gotten into YouTube or anything. I didn't really know there was like I didn't think of like YouTube as something where you follow somebody and they make like content that's really, I don't know. I just kind of like, YouTube was just kind of a secondary, tertiary even consideration for me for a long time. It was like, oh yeah, there's a new movie trailer on YouTube. or a music video or some shit. Live performances of bands and stuff. That's what I'd usually check out on there. And then those two channels, I was like, oh my god, these guys are like, they're just talking about comics. That's all they're doing. So short of like going to the library and kind of checking out some comics from there whenever you're poor, it's pretty cool to be able to tune into these channels and get the stories. Sorry, man, I'm a little bit it's a trip. It's weird when you don't actually know somebody. You're just not somebody that's in my life in any way, shape, or form. I know nothing about the guy really, other than how he presented himself and the content he made. But it's still this weird sadness, Yeah. So like, and I've seen lots of people saying some version of that basically either he got them into comics in the first place, which is awesome, or he was kind of like whenever they couldn't afford comics or they wanted to catch up on comics and they're getting back into them or whatever, something like that. The Comicstorian was there, and that's what he was doing. And like, I've seen some people in the past kind of like talk about him and Comics Explained as if they're like bad for comic books because I guess the implication being that because they tell these stories about comic books and they're telling everybody what happens in the comics, that like people aren't going to read the comics themselves or something. And I just think that's a bullshit. This bullshit. Like today shows there's far more evidence that these guys are that he was good for comics fandom. And his content will continue to be, and as we'll check out in the statement in a minute, apparently they will continue making content. I think that's great. I think it's great. I doubt that he would want the channel to end along with him. So, yeah, all my best to them, and yeah, I will continue to sing the praises as long as they continue to make the same level of content. So we've got Julia, yeah. And I learned this. I learned this in my Discord server, in our Discord server, the House of F. That's where the initiative guys, the Showcast guys, all of our, it's our community. And I just happened to peek in there and was like, what the hell? Hey, Anchorman. Wow. RIP and thanks, Comicstorian Benny, for getting me into buying and collecting comics. See, we will miss his enthusiasm and love for comics. Absolutely. Screwface. I'm on. Yeah. Comic pop. And also, and I know these guys don't know who I am. They don't watch my content or anything, but like my heart goes out to, people like Sal and all the folks over at Comic Pop. And, I'd seen where, was it Comics Drake? I think his name is. He'd posted something about they used to be friends and stuff. And like, all these people, he was like one of the originals, you know what I mean? He's been around for a long time on YouTube, and I think he was the largest comic book YouTuber. I'm pretty sure. If anybody can confirm or deny that, I appreciate it, but I'm pretty sure he had the most subs. Like he won the comic book YouTube game, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, I don't know if you mean this as a threat or why you would show up to a fucking stream that's titled what this is stream titled and say some stupid shit like this, but you can fuck off with this stupid shit. Nobody's worried about fucking Knights of Melvin. Are you kidding me? The dude's made content about all of us for fucking years, and we haven't even covered him because he's such a fucking moron. But don't show up here to a stream that's clearly about something specific and doesn't need this kind of shit in it, okay? Like, and if you're trying to threaten me, then you can fuck off. Met him once on Discord, and he was kind to me, and everyone else's channel is what got me up to date with comics. Yeah. Condolences to the community as well. It's a pretty significant community, I would imagine. I mean, I'm sure plenty of you are, would consider yourselves part of this community. Going to miss him, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to compare him to any publishers. I don't know how any one person could be more of a driving force in comics than the comic book publishers themselves. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. But like, as far as, that's just the way of things, man. It's very, very common for, if you're talking about actors or musicians, artists, or any kind, really. And I don't consider what he did as a form of art. Considering his voice and his talent for, just kind of his passion for reading comics and conveying them. It's definitely a form of art. But yeah, it's common to, you don't know what you got till it's gone. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that nobody appreciated him while he was around, but it just means that, like, as people, as a collective of people, we a lot of people have just been watching this guy on our own time for years, and every once in a while you talk about him, share his videos and stuff, but like, it's, it is kind of weird that humans are like that, right? That we can't really feel comfortable saying how much we appreciate somebody until they're gone. And I guess I kind of wish that we could get better at that, but yeah. Yeah, man, he had the good one. No, I mean, that's your prerogative. Like, I don't know why you would avoid it. It's just, unless you just wanted to read the comics for yourself, and that's understandable. But yeah. I mean, you don't need to be sorry for me in particular. Like, it's like I said, I didn't know him. I'm not. This isn't a personal loss for me. It's a personal loss for his family, his wife. And more so for his regular community and fans. And I mean, I won't lie, didn't watch him on a regular basis for a couple of years now. I really just, because if I started watching his stuff, like, for one, I wouldn't be able to pick what I want to watch. Like, I wouldn't be able to pick, and then I would just end up watching everything. Because, like, that's how, when I first was watching him, I was just had his shit on, autoplay. It was just like, listening to every video. Got me back into comics. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that him and Sal had a weekly show. I didn't know about that. I wish I would have known. I would have been listening to it. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, like, it's I mean, yeah, I'm not to be like gross about it or anything, but like, he kind of owes a lot to comics too. Am I right? It's a symbiotic relationship that they had going. That we wouldn't be talking about him if it wasn't for the comics. And I'm not sitting here praising the corporations, but I am praising the creators and the artists and stuff. And I think it was just a symbiotic thing. And I'm sure that I mean, I did see, in fact, on Twitter, I saw under the post, I saw several comic book artists, like professional, known quantity comic book artists, expressing, right. Yeah. I mean, that's what it was. One thing it was good for, man, is like, if you're a poor person and a comic book fan, Comicstorian was great. Yeah, he is vital. It's honestly, like, for all of the shit that the regular folks, and I'm not trying to turn this into talking about these guys. I don't want to talk about them here, but the guys that we normally talk about on this channel, on our channels and stuff in the comic book scene, they do a lot of damage. They do a lot of damage to comics communities and fandom, and they poison it. They put their poison out and into people's brains, and it gets, there are things they say, and the BS they say gets regurgitated into other people's brains, and it sucks, man. And yeah, I may be out here doing what I've been doing for almost 5 years now, trying to fight back against that. And that's cool and all, but like nothing I do could ever, like, no, he didn't directly go after these people, but what he did was far more powerful and far more beneficial to comics fandom than what I do and could ever do, because he's at the, like I said, I think he's the biggest subscriber count of any comics YouTuber. At that level, millions and millions of people, like he's putting out healthy, positive fandom, um, and I'm sure he didn't even love every story that he would, he would read, right? I'm sure he didn't like every single thing, but he was putting it out there for people, for fans. And I guarantee you that he's a net benefit to comic sales, whereas these other guys are probably, who knows how much they, play a role in poisoning the well to people, where people don't want to buy comics, or people that might have bought comics don't end up doing it. But yeah, he just hit 3 million subs. Holy shit! Holy fucking shit, man! I thought it was like maybe 1.5 or something. Yeah, he's definitely the biggest. That's substantial. And shit. And look, I had just watched a video of his like a week ago. It's the first video of his that I'd watched in quite some time. And the reason I was watching it, honestly, was because it was about how he was, kind of going to do his channel, basically, how he was making his content. And that's more what I was looking for from him than anything. I was like, please, master, tell me, how do you divide all of your interests? And, because that's what it's about, is like his interests versus what the algorithm wants versus what people want. You know what I mean? And like trying to find the balance between all those. And I was like, just, if I could just pull this off on a much smaller scale, that'd be awesome. All right, it's cool, man. I appreciate it. I'm sorry for lashing out at you. I just sometimes, chuds show up to our streams, and they're very often, they like to say stuff right at the beginning of a stream or before the stream starts, and then they'll just fucking take off. And it's usually something pretty shitty. And so, maybe I'm a little bit raw, a little bit responsive. Okay. I apologize. But yeah, we don't, just for the record, like, you don't need to really tell us when somebody's making content about us or something like that, because generally we know. And if we don't know, then it doesn't matter. This Batman Flashpoint video. So anyway, I'm sitting here like earlier, it just bummed out, dude. Like I was working on my stuff and I just couldn't even focus, and I'm just kind of like drained after hearing about this. And then I start kind of clicking around and looking at what people are saying and stuff, and I'm just seeing all the same stuff that y'all are, expressing here. You can go to the Reddit and see it, Twitter. And I was like, man, should I stream and say something? And at first I was like, no, that'd be weird. Like, I don't want to be like exploiting, capitalizing on it. I'm definitely not capitalizing on it, because you may notice that there shouldn't be any ads on my streams. I'm not making any money off of this. But I was like, yeah, no matter what, it'll still be kind of weird. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe the people that actually knew him or friends with him, Sal and those guys, maybe they want to do a stream and talk about it. And I don't want to, interfere with anything like that. And then, as time went on a little bit, I just kind of realized that, like, with this, I may only have 7,000 something subscribers, but like, it's people that generally, I guess, appreciate what I do for fandom and see me as someone who, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like maybe this is a role that I should do this. I should stream and just be here for you guys and let you know that, I feel your pain. And the thing that I always try to remember whenever somebody passes away is, well, let's just check out the statement, and I'll show you in a little bit what I mean by that, or what I was going to say there. So, 2 days ago, on June 8th, my husband, Ben Potter, passed away in an unfortunate accident. To many of you, he was a Comicstorian, voicing stories from across multiple different mediums. To his loved ones, he was one of the best and most supportive individuals anyone could ask for. As a husband, a son, a brother, a friend, or even just a stranger, Ben was loving and genuine. He was someone who would listen and make time for his loved ones. He would do his best to make everyone laugh and make sure that they were okay. He was our rock, and he'd reassure his loved ones whenever they needed it. He was my world, and I need time to be with friends and family. I have so many things I need to figure out, but firstly, I need to grieve. I ask that you respect my privacy as well as everyone else's. Right now, my priority is preserving everything he's built, and I don't have any plans beyond that. His channel is one of his greatest accomplishments, and while we all need our time to mourn him, I know he wouldn't want it to end like this. Ben spent over 10 years spreading his love and appreciation for his hobbies. It was through his love of exciting stories and well-written characters that got him started on YouTube. The team and I want to keep that going, to honor him by continuing to tell great stories by great people, as well as to keep the memory of our very own superhero alive. We supported each other on everything we wanted to do, and I'm not about to stop now. That's pretty good. I really respect that. Everything she had to say there, and I don't know, maybe I'll reach out and see if there's any way I can help. I don't know, I doubt there is, but like, if there's anything I can do to help them out, I'd like to do it. Oh, so okay. So Roboters says, just to let y'all know, the Comicstorian Discord has a couple of in-memory channels where you can leave your comments and thoughts. And that's, I would say that if you find yourself, still kind of struggling and want to express something, then you should definitely do that. You should definitely do that. I feel like we could all take this opportunity as an opportunity to come together as comics fans who, that leads me to my what I was going to say, actually. The thing that I said on Twitter whenever I shared this after reading it was, and it's something I say to everybody whenever they lose somebody close to them, or just somebody that you really respected, is that we should try to live in the light of example made by great people and the loved ones who pass. So whatever those best qualities were of that person, you should, try to live by that example as best you can. And I know it's not like that doesn't stop pain, but I mean that gives pain purpose. If it's a yeah. Well, I mean, that's all we can do is move on, Anchorman. I mean, whoever said that is just a dipshit. Sorry. But like, sure you can, man. Like, what was cool about your dog? What did he do that you liked? Was he like loyal? Be loyal. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is like, in Benny's case, the guy clearly loved comics and stories, manga and stuff too. Not just comics, although to me he was Comicstorian. I know he was also manga historian, but did anybody really call him that? I don't know. Maybe they did. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like, he clearly loved this stuff, and he clearly loved sharing that with people, and the things that he loved about it, and he focused on the positives, and he focused on the being. He focused on the things he liked. So live by that example. If you respected the guy for what he did, then try to if you don't adapt those qualities, if you don't have those qualities already, if maybe you don't often express how much you appreciate comics or whatever, you can start to try and do that more. You could try to connect with people about your love of comics or whatever. That's what I think the best thing that we can take from somebody passing away is just to live by their good example. So anyway, thank you, Benny, and my heart goes out to everybody that actually knew him, and worked with him and so on. And I'm really glad to know that the channel is going to keep going. I figure some people might take issue with that or something. I don't know, maybe but that's silly. I don't think that's something you should be upset about. Yep. I mean, if you think what he did was good, if you think what he did was positive and healthy for fandom and community and stuff like that, then, and for even the industry, then do that too. You don't have to do it with 3 million subscribers. You can do it with 2 people, the people that you're friends with, or the people you end up in a Discord server with, or whatever. Yeah. It is kind of like that. I mean, however, Benny was a real guy. I know you didn't mean to imply that he's, these like it, but I'm just saying, it's important to keep in mind this is a real dude that, right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, seriously, if they didn't, there would probably be some, company or something that would try to come in and swoop in and take that shit. And that would be pretty gross. But yeah, as long as it's, yeah. I have something here. I don't know if you guys want to check this out. It's very brief, but there's actually Anchorman shared it whenever he informed me of the situation earlier. Where is it? Here we go. So this is looks like I think it's just a channel trailer, but it's like the first video on his channel.
Welcome to Comicstorian, a product of Eligible Monster. Now you're probably wondering, what is Comicstorian? Well, Zonical and I are huge comic book fans, and we wanted to start bringing you lots of comic book content. But we didn't want to flood our video game channel with it and scare away all the video game nerds. So we wanted to bring a channel for the comic book nerds. Because some people are just like us, and video comic nerds. Video comic nerd. I've combined them. That's what that is, a video comic nerd. We're video comic nerds, and we want you to be too. So what kind of content can you find here? Well, you're going to be able to find the complete stories to recent universe-changing events such as the Flashpoint event in Avengers vs. X-Men, and things such as Superior Spider-Man and Justice League Origin Story, or Forever Evil. We're also going to bring you our opinions on the latest movies, such as Captain America Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the new Man of Steel 2, or Justice League as we're all calling it. So that combined with all the comic book news that we're going to be bringing you, and our weekly comic book podcast, or bi-weekly, depends on whenever we decide to actually make it come out finally. We're hoping that you'll become just as big a video comic nerd as we are. So welcome to Comicstorian, and I hope to see you around for a very long time. Make sure you subscribe, like, and favorite.
Another thing is that if you've ever thought about if you've wanted to make content, do it, man. If you've just been, if it's something you got in your mind and you've had it there for a while and you keep coming up with reasons and delays and excuses why you can't or shouldn't or whatever, just put all those aside and just do it as best you can. That's the advice I can give you, because, I guarantee he did not anticipate 3 million subscribers and being the largest comic book YouTuber. Pretty sure that he didn't. I was going to tell you guys this too. So does anybody remember a few months ago, just kind of randomly, because I was all upset and kind of excited at the same time about, it was whenever the Fall of X started. And I was like, oh man, this means Krakoa is going to be ending soon. And I was just kind of like all worked up about it. And I was like, I started kind of just randomly, like impromptu, did just a history of the X-Men on the channel. Let's see. I think I can show you. But like, within about a 2-hour stream, I just off the top of my head, I didn't have any resources open. Nothing. I just started talking about the history of the X-Men as best I could, right? Where's it at? Well, shit. I thought I had it on here. Where? Here we go. Yeah. Okay. So here it is. 60 years of X-Men off the cuff. An absolutely not comprehensive oral history. Oh, there was a whole stream. That's why. Okay. Yeah. I thought I had like edited it down and re-uploaded it, but no, it's just the stream is still up there. Unplanned, from memory, and I just like doing as best I can to just recount the history of the X-Men off the top of my head. Right. And when I got done with that stream, I was like, man, I finally did it. There's been a couple times whenever I did, but like before I ever started YouTube, the reason that I got into these guys, Comicstorian and Comics Explain, and it was like I had honestly kind of had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with them. Of course, it was one-sided, but still, of course, I appreciated them. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. It's like I can do that. That was the thing. It was like I could do this, but they're already doing it. They're doing it well. And like, what am I gonna? Am I gonna be the upstart guy that's gonna try and do that? And and plus, I'm not as, I don't know. I just didn't think that I'd be able to build an audience. They've already got the audience, right? And I don't like being somebody that does a thing that other people are doing already. In a way, I'm kind of a weirdo like that. I like to be a hipster or whatever the fuck. So I just, it was a bit of I appreciated them. I respected them. But at the same time, I'm like, man, they got to it first. It's kind of like I was born to do that and they're doing it instead. But there's been a couple times whenever I've been making content, whenever I do something and that X-Men stream in particular is one of them, where I was just like, when I got done, I'm like, fuck yeah, I did it. I'm just like Comicstorian now. Just like Comicstorian. Except if you want to know the history of the X-Men, don't watch that. Don't watch my video. Watch his video. This just released like 2 weeks ago. X-Men, the full story, and he told it in an hour. And I guarantee you it's way more comprehensive. I guarantee you, I mean, he has, images that correspond with what he's saying. As a matter of fact, I didn't have that. I was just talking. So if you ever want to know the history of the X-Men, short-ish amount of time, go to this video. Don't go to this video. Unless you want to go to that one and then like see how crappy this one is in comparison. So all we know is that there's a tweet linked in the description. All we know is that there was an unfortunate accident of some kind. I'm sure maybe eventually we'll find out, but I hear you, man. Well, let me see what see if we can see what others have said here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is harsh. Comic tropes. One of the best. Damn, O'Shea Jackson Jr. Fucking, oh my god. That's Ice Cube's son, man. Like, he's Ice Cube's son is fucking Comicstorian fan. That's freaking hilarious to me, and also pretty sad because, man, he's sad here with us. One of his favorite follows on YouTube. That's wild. Oh no, I appreciate that, man. I'm not, look, like I said, I don't like to do something that other people have done, and I kind of am. Honestly, I was really the only one doing what I do. I'm still the only one doing specifically what I do. The guys that I work with, they all do things their own way, and they do it well. And sometimes, a lot of times that overlaps, but even still, our approaches to these things are different.
You one of my best friends. And hold on.
Yeah, so
hold on. Hold on. One last thing. I just want to put this out there, just because of you, Hassan. Just want to put this out there, Hassan. You're an incredible individual, and I consider you one of my best friends, and I'm so happy to have you in my life. What are you gonna say to that?
Oh my God, that's so scary, dude. It's like such a horrifying feeling. It's like when Tony Stark hugs Spider-Man in Endgame. He's like, I guess I was dead for a long fucking time if this is happening.
Right?
When everybody does that to me, my initial thought, this is how screwed around our entire job is. I just go, fuck, what is he about to follow this up with?
Oh. Hassan, before you go, I just want to let you know you're looking really good.
Holy shit, really? Wow. I mean, he doesn't basically play his father. He does play his father in that. He literally plays his father. O'Shea Jackson, I mean. Not James Gunn or Comic Story. His variant. Owen likes comics. Just over and over again, I'm seeing this, and that's incredible. Like I don't think it was really possible for us to understand how much he played a role until he was gone. To be honest, like until you have all these people expressing it all at the same time, there's really no way to really know, I guess. Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty clearly, he had a larger effect than I even realized. Even with 3 million subscribers, of course he had a lot of people that respected and appreciated him. But like seeing Ice Cube's son, knowing that James Gunn tweeted about him, I mean, I do hope that maybe he knew before that James Gunn was a fan of his. Cape Joel. There's Ernie. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing what he did, and it just goes to show that like people like to, and this is not me like propping up myself because I'm a YouTuber. I'm talking about YouTubers that like have substantial followings and stuff, and people like to like dismiss that. And there are a lot of YouTubers that are bullshit YouTubers, right? That what they're doing is pretty lame and doesn't do anything more than entertain somebody for like the time that the video runs, right? But what Benny did is way more substantive than that, because he, the same way that these fucking chuds that we're always talking about go around spreading their toxic shit and poisoning fan base and stuff like that, he did the opposite. He was going around spreading his love and appreciation and getting other people to realize, first of all, that these things are cool. Second of all, that these things have a lot of weight to them, that there's substance in there. The comics are not just what a lot of people assume they are. There's so much more than that. Just in the pages of the comics, they're morality plays, of course, but like, just dramatic narrative that we could connect with, characters that we can relate to or identify with or not, and characters that we don't understand, but we want to, follow them anyway because they're so fascinating. All this stuff, like there's just no limit to what you can do within comic books. And then outside the pages of comic books, you've got community that builds up around them. And he, contributed greatly to all of that. So for myself personally, I think that what I'm going to take from this, like I said, try to live in the light of example of people who pass. I'm going to try to, I'm going to prioritize and doing some like, Comicstorian inspired content before long. It won't be like all of my content or anything. I'm not going to turn into wannabe Comicstorian, but I think I can do it in a way that's, more like me, but also inspired by what he did. And I'm going to try that out. Anyways, I don't know if it'd be if it's I don't know if it is weird or or if it's not tactful, but I do have an announcement that's kind of completely unrelated. I don't know if I should do that. I was just thinking that right before we went live. It's been rough, right? It's been rough. But take heart, because here's the thing. We've lost a couple of couple guys. Those guys, the other guys, the shitty guys, they are not having a good time either. That whole thing is it's like the only reason that word still exists, Comicsgate, is because it's attached to a guy who just is too dumb to die. I think he's driven by spite and hate, and he just fuels him. But it's just one guy, That's really all it is, and then a bunch of sycophants and a few little pay pigs left over, And there's always there's always going to be a toxic element to fandom. There just kind of always will be. It's just that this one has a name. They have a name that they've taken, and they make the last thing you want to do is act like they have equal weight within fandom, because they don't. Tell me who is the comic skater who had 3 million subscribers, right? I don't think there is one. I don't think there is one. I don't think. I mean, you got Critical Drinker's got 2 million, but he's not a comic skater. He's only got that because he hides his fucking power levels. Beyond that, we're talking drops in the ocean. These comic skaters. So like, don't ever let their overwhelming presence online make you think that they're as big and important as that it might imply, because they're not. The algorithm favors their content. Hate content is more likely to bring people back clicking and make them feel part of this community of fucking spite than positive content. I mean, think about this. How many people did you see going around talking shit on Benny's behalf? He had 3 million subscribers, right? But like it's pretty easy to run into Ethan Van Sciver chud or whatever, who's like, parroting Ethan Van Sciver bullshit, because for one, they have a parasocial relationship with Ethan. He's developed a parasocial relationship. Benny didn't do that. Benny, had kept a healthy kind of barrier between him and people. As much as it sucks to have to do that, you have to. I wish that I could be friends with everybody, but I can't. It's impossible. I'm not going to make you think that we can be friends. I'm not going to make you think that we are going to have some relationship beyond me presenting content on the internet. But yeah, think about it. It's the only reason that those guys are so prominent is because they have such an unhealthy attachment that they feel they have to go around defending their guy and repeating his bullshit and stuff like that. Whereas Benny, with 3 million subscribers, people that like his content, generally chill, healthy fans for the most part, I'm sure. They watch a video and they listen to a story, and then they're satisfied, and then they go about their fucking day. You know what I mean? Because like, hey, I got to hear that story. Like, that's interesting. I didn't know comics were that cool. Or, oh man, I haven't checked in on comics in years. That was awesome, because now that guy just told me everything that happens in this period that I missed. Now I'm going to go buy some comics. They don't turn around and then go, parroting the bullshit on the internet. So just remember that toxicity and hate, it's louder. It's louder than the other stuff, but the other stuff it's more substantial. There's more of us than there are them. Period. Comics Explained has 2.33, and I'm sure a lot of that is overlap too, right? Like, sure, a lot of that's overlap, but still, some of it's not. maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't die out completely, but maybe they'll just kind of dry up and wither off into the corner, and then better content will flood YouTube. It'll be much more common to see channels like Comicstorian or whatever than whatever this other shit is. Because here's the thing, they don't actually talk about comics over in Comicsgate. Are you kidding me? If you've never watched one of their streams or anything, which I don't recommend it, they're not actually talking about comics like ever. Unless it's one of the ones that they're grifting about, and one of these ones that Ethan's 3 years late on or some shit. That's the only ones they talk about. If they do talk about comics, mainstream comics, then they're lying about them, or they're talking shit without having read them. That's it. What bullshit is he doing? But I mean, even then, Anchorman, they're not really talking about him, right? They're talking about him in the most superficial way whenever they do. They're not literally reading the stories so people can appreciate them. Or they could read the stories so people don't appreciate them. If they were so, that's actually, fuck, man, I challenge these comic skaters to be the anti-Comicstorian, right? Like, if you're so confident that this shit is so bad and woke and stuff, read it to people and tell them how bad it is. The whole story, not just grab a fucking, a panel out of the something that's like, oh, look how bad this is. No, read the whole story, man. Read the whole story and let people make up their minds. I don't know where. I mean, that's a weird question. Like, I mean, what do you mean? How is it wrong? What are you talking about? Rob being a comic skater? What are you talking about? I'm saying some weird shit here, man. Yeah, I mean, Benny employed people. I know that for a fact. I know that he talked about that in the last video I watched. He had employees. Has employees, and I imagine they're going to be carrying the channel on. YouTube can be a fickle mistress, man. Like, it's hard out there. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's putting in a lot of work, but he may have, I mean, there's nothing wrong with diversifying and doing, selling shit either. Just went and listened to the weekly pull episode 6 from 9 years ago when Benny was putting them all together for a crossover before Guardians 1 came out. Damn. But I mean, to answer your question, Anchorman, no, it's not wrong. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, people don't like to hear that. Some people anyway don't like to be told that they could be doing better than what they're doing. What's up, PR Deadpool? I mean, one thing that hopefully people that watch my channel know that I advocate for is constant self-analysis. Not like constant, but like, it's good to take stock of things every once in a while and go, am I being the best version of me that I can be? Is there anything that I'm doing that is negative to myself or to others? Could I change that? How could I change that? I'm not talking about judging yourself. I'm not talking about being like, I'm such a piece of shit or anything like that. None of that helps. That doesn't help to self-talk that way. I'm talking value neutral, for the most part. Like, don't judge yourself with all kinds of harsh words and language and stuff, but like, And then it's hard to do, but especially if you realize that maybe you've been doing some unhealthy shit that might be hurting other people somehow. But still, do your best to just like not judge yourself and just be like, okay, look, that's fucking not okay. I need to do better than that. I need to be better. Or if you just aren't living up to your potential. And and if you haven't tried to live up to your potential, you don't know what your potential is, right? Like, it's really easy to just go, oh, I don't have much potential, but like, have you fucking tried? So see how far your potential goes. Give it a shot. You know what I mean? Try to speak and act from love. Now that sounds weird, but it's something I abide by. Try to speak and act from fact. If you don't know for sure something, then there's no reason to say it. If you do say something you don't know for a fact, then you should make sure to, say that. Yeah. Well, look, man. I promise you, you're worrying about it way too much because most people aren't, and I don't mean this in a shitty way at all. I mean, this is a freeing thing whenever you really realize it. Most people, nobody's thinking about you. It's very self-involved behavior to think that everyone is thinking something about you, right? I used to be the same way. Ironically, now people do actually think and talk about me, and I don't give a shit. But like before I was a YouTuber, I used to be like, oh man, everybody hates me, everybody thinks I suck and stuff like that, and this is not even true. Like, it was just negative self-talk, man. It was insecurities, it was anxiety, it was depression, it was a whole mix of trauma and shit like that I worked through, or still working through to some degree, but like I got through the most substantial parts of it that was really holding me back. And once you fully accept that like nobody's really thinking about you as much as you might think they are, it's actually a freeing thing. You can be free to decide who you actually are, to be who you actually want to be, instead of reacting to what you think people might be thinking. Feel me? Yes, he did. I mean, I haven't seen any yet, but I'm sure there's going to be some that are going to say something really shitty. And listen, if you see one of them saying something that pisses you off, don't respond to it, because that's what they want. Seriously, there's probably going to be, no more I think about it, yeah, there's probably going to be some chuds that are going to see this and they're going to see it as an opportunity, because they see everything as an opportunity to get attention on themselves. Don't feed the trolls, man. Don't feed the trolls. Go about your day. Go read some comics. Go watch a Comicstorian video if you can stand to do that. I don't think I'll be able to really for a while, but yeah, he's one of the good ones. One of the good ones. All right. Well, it's been an hour. For considering I wasn't planning on doing the stream at all, and I just wanted to be here for you guys and for you to be here for me, honestly. And I appreciate you, those of you who've been here. I appreciate you letting me get my thoughts and feelings out, and hopefully it's been beneficial for you. Okay, that's weird. Wasn't expecting that. All right. He's still using it as an opportunity. Like, and he's also probably trying to imply that Benny had some kind of sympathy for Comicsgate, which I guarantee you he did not. Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for being here. And like I said, live in the light of his example. The thing that you think he did the best, the thing that you valued him for, try to express that or live that in some way, even on a small scale. Yeah. All right, guys. Please. Oh yeah. Is it cool if I do an announcement? I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna announce this quick thing. So Friday we did during the day did a little music stream, a little bit of a music stream, right? And I'm going to be starting a channel for music, but for right now, just until that kind of I develop a little bit of a audience for that. Every first Friday on Live AF, I do a Friday stream every Friday, but every first Friday, because that's what this last Friday was. So the first Friday of next month and the first Friday of every month, we're going to be doing AF music. Yeah, and I'll talk about some old music that I like, some more current music that I like, and then I'll try something out new live on stream that I haven't heard before. Okay, so if you want to suggest things to me for that, way that you can do that is by following me on Patreon. Well, I mean, you can follow me on Patreon for free, but if you'd like to vote for things, you can support me on Patreon. That's patreon.com/actualfandom. But you can also follow me for free there and get some free content. Like there was a free upload yesterday that you won't find that on YouTube. So only on Patreon. There you go. Appreciate all you guys. Really do. Here's this thing. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, take care of yourselves, one another, and tell people that you love them, because you never know.
Okay.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Why? Says who? Who made up these silly rules?
It's like I was made for this.
Gonna hit pause here for a second. I got a few questions. Explain everything!
Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go.
Guy was fucking my chickens.